Right, let's give you this story now. As you enjoy your festive season, spare a thought for South African students stuck in Russia due to unpaid bills. It has been an anxious Christmas for over 200 students from Mpumalanga who are studying in Russia. The provincial government has failed to pay the students' tuition, accommodation and visa extension fees. The students are enrolled at different universities in that country and are studying courses including aviation, engineering, medicine and information technology. For more on this, I'm joined by the spokesperson for these students, Hayley Reichert. Hayley, thank you so much for your time here on ENCA. I mean, has no students' fees being paid? I understand it's 218, and it's been about 6 months or more that these students have been, crying that government please assist them. So none of them have been assisted yet.
No, so the students started having problems where their fees, tuition, stipends, etc. were not paid from middle of the year. They knocked on every door possible, ended up going to the media back in October. Through the media pressure, 2 officials went over to Russia. We believe that 47 students were sorted out from 3 different universities, but the remaining students are sitting. I mean, I'm getting desperate calls and pleas. These students are not able to eat. One of them said she had bread and water yesterday for Christmas Day, and they are being told that they're going to be evicted as of the 30th of December. They are begging and pleading with landlords for extensions, but absolutely no hope whatsoever from the government. And Mpumalanga government are absolutely useless. They cannot organize anything. They've known about this since beginning of the year. They took over from Rakus, who were the agent organizing and sorting us all out. And basically, these students have done everything possible. They've done everything by the book, knocked on every door possible. Mpumalanga government just not coming up with any viable solutions. They've been knocking on Blade and Zamande's door, and his office just keeps throwing it back to Mpumalanga government.
Yeah, and that's quite sad. I mean, I think for a lot of South Africans listening, the question could be, why don't they just come back home? But I understand that for some of them, it's not that easy because they're from disadvantaged families and their families didn't even have the money to, fly them to Russia. So everything, they rely on government.
Absolutely. These are underprivileged students. Some of them, families have absolutely no form of income or maybe a small form of income, which is just able to sustain the family, the family members back here. These students, they're bright young people. They're our future leaders, our future doctors, etc. They've been given this opportunity, but purely due to poor administration from Mpumalanga government. The only solution that the government have come up with is send these kids back home. I received a message from one of Blade and Zamande's PAs last week, where even, this is going back to even the students that we helped get out of Ukraine earlier this year as well. To date, not a single one of them have been placed in any South African or other international universities. So there's about 50 of those students sitting at home with no hope. You've got minus the 47 that apparently have been sorted out. You've got more than 150 where the government are saying we must just send them back. Government have said they are apparently talking to Serbia, to Namibia, Mozambique to explore other options. However, those intakes will only be in 2024. So these students must come back, sit at home. And I know from a student who reached out to me and wished to remain anonymous, he had graduated in June. And explained to me the steps and processes that the government had promised assistance with to be integrated. He's a medical student, to be integrated into South African, the next steps for them to be able to practice and become doctors here in the country. And the response was, go get a job at Checkers. So, this is taxpayers' money at the end of the day, millions and millions of taxpayers' money. Some of these students are 6 months away from graduation. What hope are we giving these students? This government, I've been calling and messaging Blade and Zamande's is not responding. His one PA did reply. He needs to intervene. His office keeps throwing it back, saying Mpumalanga are sorting it out. They're not sorting it out. What future? What must these kids come home and spend possibly a year, if not more, sitting at home where there is no jobs, there is no money, there is no hope, and we wonder why those who can leave this country are leaving. There is no hope. There is no future. And this government needs to come to the party. Blade and Zamande needs to step up and get involved and sort out the future for these kids. I'm angry. I'm upset. You know, there's we have this wonderful term called Ubuntu in this country, and I am a South African, and even though I'm in Durban currently, I live in London. I've never met these kids, but for me, they're like my own kids, and I am so. I'm so desperately angry for these kids. I've gotten to know them over the course of this year. They've been knocking on the medical deans, Health Profession Council South Africa, the Department of Health, Department of Education, and they are just being pushed from pillar to post. And I am angry. I am.
Yeah.
It affects them, it affects families, these families, and I wish every South African took their anger, their frustration, and stood up and played their role as active citizens for this country. Because, 2024 is around the corner. We cannot have another 5 years of government throwing money down the drain, throwing hopes, dreams, and futures down the drain.
Yeah, Hayley, I can sense your frustration there. Thank you so much for speaking to us. I'm sorry that this is affecting you so much. And it also gives other students who are disadvantaged in Mpumalanga possibly thinking, I'm not going to apply for this because then I'll be one of those people who are stuck there. And that becomes quite unfortunate. That was Hayley Reichert. She's representing South African students who are stuck in Russia because government has not been able to pay for their tuition, accommodation, or even just anything else that a student needs.